welcome to Life Chats with Maggie and Bunny. I'm Maggie.
And I'm Bunny.
Today we have a special guest with us, Brenda Lanigan, who is a holistic lifestyle coach. She's the owner of Essence of You, and she's an author of a book called What If? 365 Positive Possibilities for Your Life. So Brenda has 25 years experience in holistic treatments, social services, mental health. She also does color therapy, which is quite interesting. So today we're just going to chat about a variety of things with her. So welcome, Brenda, and we're happy to have you with us.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Great. So what about this book, What If? What a good title.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it took me a bit. It's been a work in progress. But yeah, it's all about possibilities. And the way that that came about is in my other life, I was a social service worker and I worked at the Hope Center in Welland. And I used to teach life skills courses to the guests there. And what I found is the people that were coming in, one, they'd burned all their bridges. They were not feeling really good about themselves. They were stressed and depressed and just not feeling good at all. And so with the life skills that I did, because there's, the run-of-the-mill life skills that everybody gets. And I said, well, these are going to have a little bit of a twist because bringing in the holistic portion of that as well. So gratitude and different things like that. So at the end of each class, I would ask them what they were grateful for. And as you can imagine, there was a lot of eye rolling and, like, what do you mean? What do I have to be grateful for?
Mhm.
And so then I would say, hey, if it's sunny, you can go out and breathe in the sunshine. If it was raining, the earth is getting a drink of water, or, be thankful for the wonderful breakfast that you have, because Gina, our food securities lady, always made sure you went away with a full stomach. She was an awesome cook. And the bed that they slept in the night before, and they were safe and they weren't out in the elements. So I would introduce these things, and some would just say, I'm grateful for my family or my friends, and that was great. And then some would pass. And by the end of the week, though, when I'd ask for what are you grateful for, a lot of the people that had passed earlier in the week had their hand up with more than one thing to be grateful for. And when they would talk about being grateful, they stood straighter. Their eyes looked
Mhm.
ahead. They weren't slumped over and looking at the ground. And more opportunities came to them because of this, because
Mhm.
they felt their worth inside, because there was still things to be grateful for, and they were still here, which is really, really important. So from that, I sat down, and this book was divinely inspired as well, because I'll read some of them going, wow, that's really good.
Where'd that come from?
I know, because it's like, well, that was me writing that. So I thought of, well, I had a hand in thinking of all the what ifs, because first it's like, oh, that'd be something fun to post on Facebook, oh, some what ifs, to think about things. And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this could be a book. Oh, and then I started writing, and then I'm like, oh, well, I should do 365 of them. It's like, wow, is there even enough of those what ifs in the world, to think of that many? So it took me a while, but the rest was divinely inspired on, what that looks like for somebody. So it's really like a manual, if you
Mhm.
will, on asking yourself, well, what if I made this the best day possible? What would that look
Right.
like? So for somebody who can't see the forest for the trees, introducing that seed of possibility, it's like, hmm, what if this was the best day ever? What would that look like? So then it starts that brain thinking and getting
Mhm.
out of this slump that they're in to really go, well, it'd be nice if this happened or this. So then it starts them thinking about possibilities. And then it opens up their mind and it opens up their heart to what's possible at any given moment of the day.
Hmm.
So that's how this book came into being, because what I really was proud of when I was a social service worker is I was able to give people options and go, okay, these are the things that I can help you with. Which one do you want? What are you going to
Yeah.
pick? And letting them choose and giving them their power back to decide for themselves what they need to work on first and
Hmm.
what the possibilities were that were available to them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a labor of love and it took quite a while to get done, but it was kind of nice when COVID hit because it's like, well, now I can sit my butt down at the computer and write this. So, yes, I had a date. I made a date. Okay, I want it done by this date, and then worked my way back, going, okay, how many is that I need to write per day? And I got it done. So, yeah, so it's
Right.
really exciting, and I just love the book. It's just and just the feedback that I've had just like warms my heart because it's like, wow, that's really cool, that this book is just helping people with their lives, and for any chapter of life that they're in, this can
Hmm.
be helpful.
Well, you keep talking
Because
about the book.
it's,
Can you show us it? Sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
Maggie,
I'll
just
be
show it,
happy
and then Maggie can ask her question or make her comment. Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
I just love it. And when you talk about the gratitude, it's powerful and it's life changing and it offers people hope. And that's where, I tell my clients all the time, you know, what if you could change your life?
hmm
Because many people who are in that situation have the whole woe is me, this is my life. But I say, what if you can? Because I fully, and I believe the three of us sitting here in this call believe that anybody can change their life.
Absolutely.
And with that gratitude, a number of years ago, I found myself in a negative rut. And I was challenged to do a 30-day gratitude challenge.
Mm,
So in the beginning, the first day, it was like you said, I'm happy I'm alive, thankful that the sun is shining. And it was very small little journal post. But I tell you, by the end of the 30 days, I was writing pages.
mm,
And that was life changing for me. And I now challenge people to do the same thing because when you feed your soul something like that, it just expands.
yes.
And like you said, you see more opportunities for gratitude and you see more possibilities. And that's where, anything that helps people to see that they have options.
Mm,
Like I was telling somebody just last week, did you know that you were born worthy? You don't have to be worthy. And it was like, what? But I've done bad things. I don't care.
yeah.
You were born worthy. And if people could just grasp that they're born with potential.
hmm
Just because you find yourself in a difficult spot now doesn't mean you have to stay there.
hmm
You can change course at any moment in the day. And yes, it's hard work. Making those possibilities happen is hard work, but it's so worth it.
hmm
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
Brenda, on that account, I wanted to ask you. So you came up with this idea. You birthed this for your clients. Or I would assume we'll call them clients or students. But where did it start for you? Because for you to have that ability to show that to other people, like Maggie said, she did the gratitude thing for 30 days, so she knows how beneficial it is. Were there times in your life that you changed perspective, or did you always have the ability to see different perspectives and different sides?
That's a great question. Well, I think I've always been a positive person to some extent. However, a lot of experiences that happened in my life over the years really gave me the understanding of what others are going through. Maybe not exactly the same, but to not have any judgment and to understand that through no fault of their own, just with traumas that may have happened and just with the beliefs that they have, that these experiences have happened to them, and
Mhm.
now it's like, now what do we do, So trying to help them see what is possible. Because I was a single mom at one point and I was on assistance and lived in housing and things like that. So I know firsthand how that feels and how,
Mhm.
I don't know if the word debilitating is the right word, but just like how it just hurts your soul that you're not able to provide for your family like you would want. So seeing these people come in and, that they're just downtrodden because of a lot of the thoughts that people have. Oh, well, if you weren't so lazy and if you didn't do this and all these things, which really have no context in this at all.
Right.
It's just things happen, and so to be able to have that understanding. And then I've always wanted to, well, I've always fought for the little guy. That's what I do. And I made a promise to myself when I became a social service worker that when I called an agency, they'd be like, "Oh crap, Brenda's on the phone. Like we might as well just give her what she wants now because she's going to call back until she gets it." And I will go as far as I need to be able to do that. So, and I was, and it really helped my clients because the system's broken. We all know that.
Right.
But a lot of different individuals that work in these different agencies are feeling like it's like a personal thing and, holding back information and all these different nonsense things. So it was like, oh no, I'm going to get you everything that you could possibly need or be able to get so that you can move on and be able to shine the light that you are. And
Mhm.
yeah, so it was very empowering because they're like, well, you could do that, my last worker. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like I'm on the job now, but I wouldn't work harder than my client. My client needed to want to change and do better and all these things. And I was in their corner every step of the way.
Yeah.
And just so many wonderful stories on how they've come through there. And I've seen them now and they're just glowing and they're doing wonderful. And it just is exciting to see.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it sounds
And
like you
it's
were
important.
advocating them for them and even doing the healing thing, that you now do, but back
Yeah,
then in that system. But yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. It's important for people to realize and understand. And I tell people that I hear doing that judgment thing of people, I always say, but for the grace in our life or a blessing in our life or somebody helping us, but for that, we would be that person. And that's kind of the way that we have to look at people is, all of these people are worthy of having the exact same things that we do. Maybe they didn't have the choices that we had. Maybe they didn't have the supports that we had. Maybe they didn't have the things to pick from that we had to pick from. And, of what they had to pick from, maybe they did make the best choice. And that's where oftentimes people get judgmental about other people because they don't look at it that way. They
Mhm.
just look at it, like you said, well, they're lazy and they're not trying. But
Yeah.
it's not always that.
Mhm.
It's rarely that. It's that people have lost hope
Yeah.
and they just need somebody to let them see that there is hope. They need somebody to shine a little light of hope. And by the sounds of it, that's what you do for people.
Absolutely. And it's nice to know you got somebody in your corner, because when you burn
Mhm.
your bridges for whatever reasons, it's like, and a lot of the families were so, um, they weren't good families, so it's not like
Mhm.
you want to be part of the family. So being on your own and trying to distance yourself from something that was traumatic or just not good for you, and getting out of an environment that's unhealthy is scary. And then you're by yourself, and then you got, people judging you and it's just like, seriously, like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do here? And you get downtrodden, and you just, all this negativity piles on you, and it's a lot of times it's just too much for people, which is really sad, but
Mhm.
letting somebody know that, hey, I believe in you and we're going to get through this. And what are your dreams? And I'd always ask them, what are your dreams? And they're like, well, I don't have any. Well, think about it. What do
Mhm.
you, what's the best thing that can happen? And so they start thinking about that, and then it's like, all right, well, let's work towards that. Maybe it's their dream job. It's like, all right, well, what do we need to do in order for that to happen? Let's put these action steps in place. Let's move forward. And so many did get their dream jobs, and so it's just a matter of being in their corner and asking the questions so that they can figure out what that is that they need and what's next.
Mhm.
I'm curious to know, since you started writing the book or since it's been published or anything, do you find yourself using your book?
Oh yeah, I use it every morning.
Oh, do you? So do you randomly, or do you like, is it like a day one has to be January 1st, or like do you just randomly pick, like what is it that you do? How do you use your book?
So I didn't put any dates in that for
Okay.
that reason,
Yeah.
because then it would just bug me, because it'd be like, well, I'm gonna have to wait, or I'm gonna have to do this. So I started at the beginning of the book and worked through that. Now, with all the health issues that I've had going on, I was divinely inspired once again to create a what if workbook. So it's called What If for the Healing Soul. And so that's what I'm working on right now, is more, it's another manual really on creating that lifestyle of health and wellness. Because so many people, like, they plan more for a trip than they do for their life. So
Mhm.
this is more helping get all these pieces in together. Like, what rituals and habits do you have that are really positive to help you move forward? Are you eating healthy? Are you drinking a lot of water? And just all these different things, and giving thanks for your body, because, and honoring your body, because if you didn't have this, where would you be living? So it's really important to give thanks for all your body systems and things like that. So right now I'm working through that. The episodes that I have on Mondays, I haven't done them for a little bit because we've just had a lot of things going on and it's summer. I would put my hands on either side of the book and ask what the message is for the day. So that's a fun one. So yeah, you can do it a couple different ways, but I start at the beginning and work my way through.
So let's pretend for a moment, if we can, let's pretend that somebody is listening to this podcast who is sitting by themselves, just finished crying their eyes out because they don't really have any hope to go on. Hold that book, open it up, and give that one person who might be needing hope today, give them a what if that's going to help them in that process.
What if today I decided to take it to the next level? Now, would you like me to read the blurb that goes with it?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Are you living a mediocre life? Do you have goals written down? Do you have the steps required to move forward and manifest them? Are you happy with your life so far? If you are happy with your life at this point, wonderful. If you're not, then what will it take for you to make changes? The first step is to write your goals. If you don't write them down, they're just wishing and they will never manifest. Once you have your goals written down, the next step is to write the steps you'll take to make them a reality. It is helpful to put a completion date on each of them as well to create timed goals. Try using weekly, monthly, 3 months, 6 month, a year, 5 years, etc. to your planning. Each day when you get up, read and visualize your goals. See how you will live and how you will feel. Bring in all the emotions and sit with that feeling. Do this before bed as well. Then, most importantly, take action. Complete those steps. Each day, promise yourself that you will take at least one step towards your goal. In a month, take a look back and notice the difference that you have made in your life by taking it to the next level.
Wow.
Very nice. I'm like, I was not the person who was crying and everything all alone, but I could still gain so much out of that what if
Mhm.
there that you provided with us. So
Well, thank you.
definitely.
Right. Yeah. So do you do this with clients now? Do you do a weekly thing that people can reach out to you to get that kind of support? Because even just in us talking about it, I could see that there's probably a lot of people who could make use of that.
Absolutely. So right now I'm teaching it in person at the Seven Crows Institute in Port Colborne. And so it's every Wednesday from 1 to 3. And if they'd like to know more information, just email me at brenda@essenceofyou.ca and I can give you the information. And I'm also going to be doing one online for individuals who aren't in the Niagara region and doing a more online one so that anybody, wherever they are in the world, can join in as well.
That's awesome. I was
Wow.
going to ask about virtual because I do love virtual things because, it's a commitment that you can make that isn't quite as big sometimes, if you don't have transportation or you can like just pop on for an hour or 2 hours or whatever online. And it's just kind of a little bit easier access for people and especially all over the world too. Right. So that's really amazing. Now I do know because we are friends with you on Facebook, so I do know that you also have some oracle cards which we haven't
I
touched on
do.
yet. So if you'd like to show those off and tell us something about that as well,
I
we
would
could.
love to.
Yeah,
So they're called Nature's Divas, Gentle Messages for Healing. And this is the back of the cards. And then each one of them represents a different essential oil. So there's 53 cards, and way back in I think about 2007, I had a friend of mine who was an aromatherapist, and she was going to write a book. And she said, would you be interested in being a guinea pig for her? Like, yeah, pick me, anything holistic. Yep, I'm right there. She goes, will you use an essential oil each day for a whole year and journal your findings? So I'm like, yeah, I'm all over that. Now at this point, hadn't really used essential oils, kind of knew about them, not that much though. So I was going in there totally without any expectations or anything like that. So she gave me 52 different oils. So I would use one for a whole 7 days and then change to another one and so on. So at the beginning of this, I was a single mom on assistance, um, had a lot of trauma in my life, very fearful for driving any farther than like well into St. Catharines. So that was my circle there. I'd go to Port Colborne, but just a very limited circle just from the way I was, just from a lot of things traumatic that have happened. So started using these oils in January and was journaling and really loving it because who doesn't like smelling essential oils? They're so yummy. So I did that for a while and then an opportunity came up for I think it's called Second Career where you can go back to school. And I've always wanted to be a social service worker. So I went to Port Cares and, I'm like, but I didn't take grade 13 because that was the big thing back then. Well, you have to be in grade 13 or you can't go to college. And they're like, that doesn't matter anymore. You can go to college. I'm like, well, that's cool. So filled out all the information. And then to apply, they said, well, there's Niagara College, but there's also Sheridan in Peel region. And I'm like, I'm not driving. That's too far. And I've got children at home. So they're like, you know what? Let's just, humor us. Let's just put it in. I'm like, all right, but I'm not going. So this went on. And so the week of December, right between Christmas and New Year's, I get a letter that I have been accepted to Sheridan College and I'm on the wait list for Niagara. And they're like, you need to let us know now because you start the second week of January. And I'm like, oh crap. However, from using those oils all that year, I'm like, I could do this. And so I accepted. And my oldest daughter was around 15, so she was able to get her and her younger sister off to school every morning when I left at 5 in the morning to get there. And I commuted every day back and forth. And the first time I went, I had my whole body went numb because of the fear, because I was on taking an off ramp and my whole body froze because the fear just took over. But I was able to move through that and do that for 2 years. I started in January, went right through the summer, and I graduated and became a social service worker. But without those oils, I wouldn't be in the place I am right now. They totally changed my life, but they're so gentle, you don't realize it until you look back and go, wow, like I'm no longer that person. I have like a steady job. I'm able to provide for my family and get out of that position that I was in. It was helpful that I needed it at the time, but then I was able to move forward because of
Mhm.
those people that helped me. And what a wonderful gift that is.
Right. No wonder you fight for people because
Yeah,
you have experience of people fighting for you,
absolutely. Yeah.
even when you didn't believe in you.
And there was a lot of times that happened. But then working with the oils, and then after that year, it's like, oh, I bought a whole bunch of oils, and then I sat there going, well, what do I do with them now? Because there's so much information. Do I put them on my body? Where do I put them? What do I do with them? So I like oracle cards. I have a collection of them, I must say. But I thought, what more fun can you have than creating a deck of oracle cards to start your day? You pick a card, you breathe in the oil, you do the little exercise or the meditation, and then you start your day.
So why don't you give us a sample of one of those as well?
Absolutely. All right. So what's our message for today?
Being as I'm the person who has a whole cabinet full of essential oils, I diffuse them regularly through my home, but I am by no means knowledgeable about how they can work for me.
Yeah, she's
I,
she's my essential oil dealer. I go to her house and go, I need a new oil. I need a new oil. She goes, here you go. Pick whatever you want.
Bunny laughs
That's
all the time
awesome.
that I'm the dealer. Oh, you need some? Yeah. People will call me, do you have this? Yes, I do.
And it's even better when she opens the magical drawer of the extras, like the duplicates. And she's like, I have, because
Mm.
I'm like, I don't want to take your only. She's like, I have more.
And when you open that up, it's just like,
Oh, it's
oh,
amazing. It's just so
it's
great.
just the most wonderful smell. My
Yeah.
store, I used to have a store back in 2000, a holistic store, and I had oils in there, and it just like smelled so good when you
Yeah.
walked in. It's just like, oh, I just love it. So
Yeah.
today, orange.
Ooh.
Orange is the oil. So
That is
let's
one of my favorite oils, actually.
Is it?
to diffuse. Yeah.
And it's just
I wear it as
sweet
a
and
perfume. I wear a lot of oils as perfumes too, and I would wear
nice.
orange or lemongrass. Those are like my two favorite.
Oh, lemongrass is
Yeah.
awesome. So the way I created the book, or the way it was divinely inspired to be made, is that each of these cards, the diva is speaking through us at the beginning. So this is a message from the divas of the oranges. And then it goes into an exercise, and then there's an affirmation. So I'll read the top. Open the windows and let in the fresh air. Imagine those closed areas of your mind. Visualize you are opening the doors and windows and clearing the space. Are there things that need to change? Things that are no longer needed or don't belong? I'm orange, and the scent of my oil can help you release those things that no longer serve you. This could be beliefs, relationships, or habits, to name a few. It is time to take a look at these areas in your life. And the affirmation is, I let go and release those beliefs, relationships, or habits that no longer serve me. I am free. And then there's an exercise in there, but those are the main.
Wow. Well, I have the essential oils. I need those cards. So
There you
how does a
go.
how does a person get those cards?
Well, I have them with me. So again, use my email and reach out to me, or you can message me on Facebook, friend me, Brenda Lanigan. And yeah, I can send those out to you. So, or if you're close, I can deliver them and we can have a nice visit.
Pick me.
Do you want to just let people know how it is? Like what's your website? What's your email address? So then that way people can.
My website is essenceofyou.ca. Now it is under construction and it's going to be changing. So if it doesn't, it's not up there. It's only going to be a few days because it's changing platforms. But my email is Brenda at essenceofyou, and it's all spelt out. It's no short forms, .ca.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And you've been more than informative. And I'm excited for our listeners who may be wanting some of this information or who feel the nudging in their own soul to change their life, like I do with those cards. I think, whoa, I need those cards. They need to be in my life.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, yeah, this has been a gift. Thank you so much. And Bunny, let people know how they find us.
I want to thank you too as well, Brenda. And to reach out to us, if you'd like to be a guest on our podcast, like Brenda, you can reach out by going to our website at aboveandbeyond.com, or also emailing us at aboveandbeyond@gmail.com. And yeah, listen up to other episodes, share episodes as you see, fit to share with other people. Give us likes, comments. We welcome anything. And if you have any ideas of topics or people you'd like us to hear about, you can email us as well.
That's it for today. Thanks, everybody. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Bye.
Bye.